Hello there, welcome to Mini Model World. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a tiny teepee for a dollhouse. And it's going to look similar to this, but this is one I made that's actually not to scale, it's too small, so it's good for a fairy garden, but a bit too teeny for a doll's house. But it's going to be the same techniques to make it, it's just going to be bigger. So there's a few things that you'll need to make this teepee. You'll need some crafting paper and cardboard. I've already cut out of this one, that's why there's a big hole in it. This will be your base of your teepee. You'll need some kebab sticks cut to size. You'll need some fabric and also some string to tie the top of the teepee poles together, and some all-purpose glue. I'm just using UHU, but you could use a hot glue gun as well, would work just fine. So the first thing to do is to cut out, I've already done this, I've cheated a bit here, is to cut out a piece of cardboard that's 8 centimetres by 8 centimetres and then stick it to some crafting paper. I've used this because I thought it would look quite woodlandy because the material that I'm using has got things like flowers and things on it, so I thought that would look quite good. And then you need to make 4 holes, 1 in each corner of your base material, and that's for the sticks to go in. So I'm actually using just a kitchen knife to make the initial hole and then just making it bigger with one of the ends of the kebab stick, the sharp end of the kebab stick. So we've now got 4 holes in there, as you can see. So the next thing to do is to fold this over, the card over, and wrap it round the cardboard base. So I'm just going to make little snips into the corner so it's easy to fold over. And so I don't have to make the holes again, I'm just going to cut the corners out so they're not covering the holes. So now it's going to look a little bit like this, so I'll just fold the sides in and over just so it looks a bit neater, and then glue it down. So when it's glued down it's going to look like this, so you can still see the 4 holes that the sticks are going to go in. So I've already cut the sticks out. These are 12 centimetres long. Earlier I made one where they were only, I think, 8 centimetres long, and it was just way too small for the bedroom. It's super cute, but I couldn't even fit a baby Sylvanian in there, so it really was a bit too small. So each one of these sticks will go into one corner. This should fit in quite easily because I've made the holes the same size as the sticks. So the cardboard is 8 centimetres squared and these are 12 centimetres long, and this should make the perfect size for a kid's teepee on a 1:12 scale dollhouse. There we go. So these will all come into the middle, and I've got some silver string. It's a little bit slippy, this string, so it might not be ideal, but I think it looks pretty though. So I'm going to cut off about 1/2 metre just to make sure I've got enough to keep the teepee secure. Then I'll make a tiny little loop. Yeah, it's quite tricky to use this. And tie this around one of the poles, making sure it's super tight. And then I'll just wrap the string in and out and around the other poles. There's no set way of doing this, it's just making sure it's secure enough. So I'm just going to go round and in and out and all over. And then I'm going to tie it up and then just snip the end off. I'm just going to put a little blob of glue on here just because this string is quite slippy, so I don't want it to come undone. There we go, a bit messy, but that'll keep it in place. So the next thing is to cut the fabric that's going to go around the teepee. So I've just used an old pillowcase, actually, an IKEA pillowcase that was threadbare on one side, so I thought I'd recycle it. But you can use things like, if you can find fabric samples big enough, old cushion covers, anything like that, or you can obviously buy fabric from places like Etsy or upholstery shops. The main thing is to make sure it's quite thin. Thicker fabric will be too hard to sort of get round the poles and stay in place. The original idea I had for this came from a YouTuber called My Froggy Stuff, so do check out her video. I've linked to it below. Hers is for a Barbie doll size teepee, but I got this idea for what she did to measure out the fabric that she'd need for the teepee. So she actually used a stick of dowel and went round marking it off on the way, so she knew she could get a nice semicircle that would be the fabric. I actually found that too difficult because I found the dowel was just slipping all over the place. So I've modified it and created, well, I don't even know what you call it, measuring device of a ruler with a pin in it. And then I've measured it round to 12 centimetres, so it's going to overhang this because these are 12 centimetres, but we're losing about 1/2 to 1 centimetre at the top where the poles cross over, if you can see that there. So at the top we're just losing about 1/2 to 1 centimetre. So I've gone for 12 centimetres still, so it can overhang at the bottom. So what I did was just move this round, marking at 12 centimetres every couple of centimetres or so. So now I've got to cut it out, which I'm not really looking forward to because I haven't got very sharp scissors, but I'm going to give it a go. And this cloth is quite stretchy as well. If you want to work with a cloth that isn't stretchy and won't fray, then you could use felt because that holds its shape, so it's very easy to cut and you won't get all these annoying little bits of thread after cutting. There we go, so it doesn't have to be perfect, which is good because mine isn't. So I'll just fold it over and then I'm just going to cut out a little bit of the fabric at the top just so the poles can fit in. So I'm going to try and do it in a semicircle. There we go. Then the next thing to do is decide which way you want the front to be. If you've used a piece of crafting paper with a decoration at the front or something, it might matter, but in this case it doesn't. So this is massive, as you can see, but that's okay because we're going to cut it down to size. So the first thing I need to do is stick down the first side. So to do that I'm going to use some more glue. Hot glue dries a lot quicker than UHU, so if you have got hot glue it might be easier to do this bit using that, but I don't, so I'm just working with what I've got. So I'm going to stick the front bit on there and hold that down for a few seconds just to make sure it's secure. It actually sticks cloth quicker to wood than it does paper to paper, bizarrely, but that'll make this job a bit quicker. So the actual pattern on this won't be to scale, it's clearly going to be massive, but I figured for a doll's house and for the cause of recycling it won't matter, it'll still look pretty. So then we go to the other side, so I'm going to do the same thing and apply lots and lots of glue to the pole. Whoops, it's coming out already. And then wrap this front bit around. We're going to cut this bit off so it won't be closed like it is now. Now you could fold in the fabric underneath and glue it to the base so it looks like that, or you could leave it so it looks a bit more do-it-yourself, so it's flowing round the back. I'm going to decide once I see what it looks like when it's stuck as to which I do. So now I'm going to cut down the front. It's a bit tricky because my scissors are not very sharp. I'll just neaten that up a tiny bit. So that's how it's looking at the moment. So I am actually just going to cut around this a bit more because it's a bit massive at the bottom, but I do want it to be able to open so Joanie, my daughter, can put her dolls in. So I'm just going to cut around the base a little bit. There we go, and I think I am going to glue it underneath just to tidy it up a bit. I mean, you can do either. You can either leave it like this or tidy it up by gluing underneath. which I think I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pop some glue all around the edge of the fabric. This might take a while to dry because I'm going to put a lot on, and then just tuck the fabric under, and then it can still open at the front. And to finish it off, I've just got some blue string made up of little flowers, so I thought that might look quite nice tied around the top. This came from a Dreamcatcher set, but you can get things like this from places like Hobbycraft or Etsy or Amazon or any crafting shop really. And there we go, there's a tiny teepee made in about 15 minutes, and I know my daughter is going to love it in her doll's house. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make a tiny little teepee, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more crafting DIY tips for miniatures. Bye!